Zero Punctuation is a funny online show that's a great way to kill time as Yahtzee critiques and or verbally abuses most games, calling them variations on the word terrible, with many of his reviews having quite a few moments that stand out for how memorable they are. With that basic introduction out of the way, I'm going to count down my top 15 moments from Zero Punctuation, with the only rule being that there are no two entries will be from the same review. With all that said, let's get started.
But the level design is really, really good. Like something good that's made of chocolate. They're full of really creative mechanical devices, and it's all got this wonderful charm about it that disarms you, then trips you up and plants your face into a muddy riverbed made of chocolate. If I seem to be having trouble with this review, it's because Little Big Planet is so bloody insubstantial. There's really nothing else to say about it. Once you get through the levels, really nice levels, mind, all you're left with is the ability to dress up like a twat and stick googly eyes all over your mission hub. I guess that means this review is a bit shorter than normal, so here's something else to fill the time. Oh fuck, sorry, I forgot. User-made content. Hey, Lost Planet 3, your combat's derivative and shite. Well, I can't think of what I could possibly do about that, replies Lost Planet 3, oblivious to the giant robot suit in the background, holding up its hand and bobbing in its chair like an eager schoolboy. Oh, but this is covered in the plot. Nevland Ektani won't let you put guns on your giant robots because they're supposed to be for engineering rather than combat. Presumably this is also why by default it's armoured with cardboard and tinfoil and can take about one reasonably powerful titty twister before kicking you out, and can only bumble about the place with obnoxious slowness so that it doesn't shake up all the pallets of Coca-Cola it has to carry around as part of its engineering work. It's a pretty good skive, that, isn't it, though? No, the game has to be boring and shit, because the plot says so, hands tied. If you've never played the original Rise of the Triad, then fuck off! The new Rise of the Triad is a nostalgic in-jokey exercise, basically recreating the original with all new pretty lighting. So we can speed around shooting the baddies like a Starlight Express cast member going postal, yep. And we can fire cartoonishly powerful rocket launchers in mid-air, yep. And it's still fuck all to do with triads, yep. And we've still got the power-up that turns you into a dog. With a little doggy nose at the bottom of the screen, yep. And the little adorable paw coming up when you press buttons. No, we forgot about that. 1 star! And when the dialogue isn't awful quips or self-aggrandizement, it's just treating the player like an absolute cretin. That wall looks breakable. I notice you haven't broken it in the 2.7 seconds since I last mentioned that. That's cool. I'll check again in 2.8 seconds. What makes you think I'm this stupid, Sonic Boom? You bought me. Touché. It's very much steeped in the PC gaming attitude. You either memorize about 10 million keyboard shortcuts or switch to a mouse interface that attempts to simultaneously convey more information than a fucking textbook on visual design. You've got your inventory, your equips, your nanites, your cyber modules, your weapon setting, your ammo selector, your logs, your map, your research, your stats, your skills, your goals, your hopes, your dreams, your secret racist opinions, and your teeth getting knocked out by a mutant with a lead pipe, who you didn't see coming because your vision was covered in bollocks like a monetized YouTube video and you were playing Minesweeper. And to start, removing the flat-screen tellies and power showers of gameplay features shows more blatant misunderstanding of its audience than the black and white minstrel's tour of the South African prison system. So explain, Sims 4, why you shouldn't be hurled immediately into this trough of burning slurry. Player first! Random documents and audio logs, we find them stuck to notice boards, we find them under dogs, we're gonna put them in a file and give it a review, and we're bored of all the gameplay but we've nothing else to do. Racketeer, a physics game in which you fling a set number of projectiles with various different properties at loosely constructed buildings at the expense of small round green sods. And this might strike you as familiar if the front page of the iPhone App Store has ever been hurled past your front window so that you caught a glimpse of it for 1/10 of a nanosecond. Yes, it's Angry Birds, but in full 3D, except with the suicide sparrows replaced with good honest traditional rocks, because this is the XBLA and we don't tolerate that quirky mobile device nonsense. At the encouragement of two guys who look like they were rendered in the late 90s, you have to operate an imaginary ballista with hand movements and stances that make it look like you're preparing to catch a rugby ball from someone being attacked by a crow. Unlike Angry Birds, though, you also make course corrections mid-flight by slapping the missile like there's something directly in front of you, say at around waist height, that for one reason or another you want to give a good hard spanking. Give me my bells, I'm in deep to the raccoon mob. The raccoon moneylender who gives you your home loan being the local mafia don is the obvious Animal Crossing joke, but what stuck out at me in New Leaf is that once you've paid off one loan, he doesn't upgrade your house and put you in more debt until you specifically ask him to. But that's worse. Radiohead put it best. You do it to yourself, badow-dow, and that's what really hurts. Go, run back to your newly paid-for house, lie upon your bed and listen to the ticking of the clock. You'll break. You'll be back at the house shop inside 24 hours. Paying off that loan was the only reason you got up in the morning, went fishing, exchanged the time of day day with the local brightly coloured dullards. Existing with nothing to strive for is no existence at all. A life free of debt? You naive fool. Debt is your life. And so we return once again to another installment of the series that beats its chest like a pirate with anger management issues, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, or KODOR. I'm sure there's a joke in there relating to that one character from Game of Thrones, but nah, how can a huge retrograde lumbering idiot capable only of constantly spouting the same phrase possibly relate to Game of Thrones? Ha 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 ha. After all that, I kind of liked being able to customize combat style, but there's only one kind of ammunition now that loads every kind of gun, because otherwise the Ripper Blade enthusiast might be lumbered with a load of line gun ammo useful only for decorating his Christmas tree, and as a consequence I never ever even came close to running out, and my inventory rarely had less than 10 healing items at a time. Tension? What's that? The thing that comes before 11, shun? Kubrick once took 170 takes of the same scene, willfully ignoring the fact that while Stanley Kubrick was a flighty auteur genius, the same behaviour pattern could easily be displayed by an incompetent spod with no planning skills and an indirectly proportional ego. I speak of one of the most notorious disappointments in the entire history of first-person shooters. Jesus Christ, Yahtzee, how many videos are you going to do on Duke Nukem Forever? No, you twat, the other one! Maybe I just don't have the genius brain for some good old hard sci-fi. The kind of hard sci-fi where the most significant new addition is a bow and arrow. Yeah, that's some real hard fucking sci-fi right there. It really illustrates how desperate they were to find a new feature to trumpet the amount of fuss that gets made about a fucking piece of string tied to a bendy stick. First, it features prominently on the box art, and then it's introduced in the first mission with what sounds like a conversation from the fucking shopping channel. Gosh, I just love exterminating my fellow man with the most advanced projectile weaponry in existence, but sometimes I think that if I could pick the bullets out of the ruined bodies of my victims, put them back into my guns and use them again, then I'd just be so much more productive, but there's no way I can do that, is there? Well, Prophet, have you tried bow and arrow? Bow and arrow, you say? Yes, not only does bow and arrow allow ammo recovery, but it's also silent, can be fired without decloaking, and does about 12 times the damage of a bullet for some reason. Gosh, Psycho, bow and arrow sounds so convenient, it almost makes you wonder why they were completely supplanted by guns fucking centuries ago. It's just that I feel weird being asked to assess their performance when, class aside, they're pretty much all the same behaviour-wise, a cadre of absolute dunces that point out baddies, pick up shiny objects and constantly repeat the bleeding obvious. This area is quite verdant. We are on a path. We could get a good view from the top of that tower. I know we could, asshole. You know how I know? Because I was just on the top of that tower, and so were you. And I swear this is true, the final boss fight is two dogs. The biggest threat in the game could have been outwitted by chucking a fucking bonio at it. And then it just ends. Cuts to black. The characters have achieved nothing, learnt nothing, and will hopefully now jump in a big black hole and return to nothing. Just as the visuals succeed too well at being deliberately hideous, the protagonists succeed too well at being deliberately wankers. There's nothing fun about the game. No light relief, just one piece of nauseating unpleasantness after another, like a roadside cafe breakfast special by Jeffrey Dahmer. I know IO Interactive are better than this. Hitman Blood Money was a baldy-headed barrel of fun. Since then, though, IO were bought out by Square Enix, so I'm going to blame them. Fuck off, Square Enix. Kane and Lynch 2 sucks so many dicks it now breathes spunk instead of air.